Chocolate Bird here, but not for a video review, as you can imagine, probably from the title. But it's for the top 10 chocolates of 2020, yeah. So, well, first of all, if you haven't checked out numbers 11 to 20, go check those out. There'll be a link in the corner, this one I would have thought. Yeah, for a bit of context as well, that's a great video to see before this one. There are a few disclaimers I will mention before I start, just so you've got a bit of understanding of what is included and what isn't, things like this. I haven't included members only videos, any of the reviews I've done in those, any products from there. Just because usually there are different things like crisps and cereals and stuff like that. I didn't think they were comparable really. And I've also removed things that I did review, I didn't think were comparable, such as ice creams, things like this, you know, yeah. So I've taken out, I think it was Ben & Jerry's Chip Happens that I reviewed last year, and also the salted caramel brownie as well. And yeah, because I just think they're sort of very indulgent, very different, there's more to them than just a chocolate bar generally. I think ice creams, especially Ben & Jerry's ones. I mean, some ice creams maybe not, but Ben & Jerry's ones, they're just not quite. I don't think it's not the same kind of thing. I didn't think it was fair. I mean, obviously in this one I've included cake bars and other things. I've reviewed some cake products and things, but they're generally sort of things that I would say are of equal standing as such. You know, an equal sort of, yeah, I quite fancy that, or I'd have that as a treat, or a little treat, you know, just comparable. Whereas I think ice cream is something dramatically indulgent and not quite the same. So I've not included those, because I think if I reviewed 10 Ben & Jerry's products, the odds are that probably the top 10 would just be all these Ben & Jerry ones, most likely, because they're so indulgent, so full of stuff, and you know, it's just not the same. It's not the same, I don't think. You know, if I did top 10 ice creams, I think that would be fairer. I just don't think it would be fair to do that. Also, leading on from that, and you probably might have guessed from what I said, these are all things I've reviewed as well. So basically, it doesn't include anything I reviewed last year. It could also include re-reviews. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean the things that did come out last year. It's things I actually reviewed last year. Most of them will probably be new products, just because that's the nature of it. But sometimes I do re-review things, so there's a chance that those products might reappear in it, because of course, you know, yeah, it's just that's the way of it really. I don't know, there's not an easy way to get around that, and I don't think it's necessarily unfair to do that. So but you know, bear that in mind, that's the gist of it. So you know, yeah, there we go. So what's the other caveat as well? Is there anything else? Yeah, well, I will do a playlist, let's say in the top corner as well, either appear now or appear at some point, or a link in the description, or both, of all the reviews I've done of these products as well, so you can go watch them if you fancy doing that after you've watched this top 10. But yes, how did I determine this as well? Well, it's literally, so it might not necessarily reflect the ratings or you know, maybe the judgments I gave at the time when I did the reviews. What I did to do this, I used a comparator engine basically. So it basically I loaded in all the reviews I did, and it basically sort of presented me with which would you have, this one or this one, this chocolate bar or this one that I've loaded in, and I would pick one, and it would sort of like basically keep asking me over and over again which one I would have, this one or this one, and it would sort them all out based on that and give them all rankings and things like this, and it would pit them all against each other eventually, and it would give me a list. But because I've done, I'd say, well, I never said, but I've done about 200 odd reviews last year, something like that. So basically what I did was, when I got all of them ranked, I filtered out, I just took the top 50 then compared them again, because I just thought, you know, they could be doing some clever logic or whatever, or clever mathematics or something, that might not necessarily work when only the top 50 are compared with each other. So I took that top 50, compared them all again, and then I took the top 20, and that's what I'm presenting to you. So in the last video I presented the 20 to 11, and this time it's 10 to 1. Yeah, so there we go. So that's the gist of it. So that's kind of how it works. So it's not necessarily, I'll say, what I preferred at the time, maybe, or when I reviewed what I gave all fives to. It's literally, if I had them in front of me right now, or at least when I did the list, which one would I have rather had, and eventually the best one I would pick over all the others came to the top, is the gist of it. That's how it would have worked. So yeah, so there we go. So that's the gist of it, I think. Anything more to say on that? Don't think so. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, so there we go. So yes, the one last thing. Yeah, so as you can imagine from that, this, even though something's at number 10, doesn't mean it's awful or anything. I reviewed, you know, as I say, I don't know, I'm not sure how many it was, but about 200 reviews last year. You know, so this is the top 5% of all those reviews. So something at number 10 is not the bottom of the list. It's literally the bottom, you know, it's just the bottom of the part I've taken out to show to you, because obviously giving you number 100 probably wasn't really a very good bar. You know, so there we go. So yeah, so bear that in mind. Just because it's number 10 or number 20 doesn't mean it's a bad product at all. It's still a great product. It's just there's, you know, just a few more better than it. That's all I would rather have at the time. Okay, so without further ado then, let's get to number 10. So what is it? I've got the list behind me there. So this one, Milky Way Midnight, number 10. Yeah, so this one's I really enjoy this one. It's a US import, this one. It's basically Mars Dark. The Milky Way in the US is a Mars bar, essentially, pretty much. I mean, it might have a slight different recipe for the chocolate and things or whatever, but yeah, so Milky Way Midnight is essentially sort of, if you imagine a Mars bar, but with dark chocolate on the outside, and the nougat in the middle is kind of like a vanilla nougat, something a bit different. It's a bit lighter than normal, and it was Mars Dark when they released it as a limited edition in the UK about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, something like that, and I loved it. I love that Mars bar. I'm not a big Mars bar fan generally. They have to be refrigerated for me to really like them. I sometimes can eat them in the celebrations section box, but a bit smaller for whatever reason. But generally I have to have Mars refrigerated. I don't know why, it just doesn't taste as nice if I don't refrigerate it. I'm not a big fan of it otherwise. But Mars Dark I do like, and even more refrigerated. But it's really nice. It's just lovely. I think the dark chocolate and the sort of like the vanilla or whatever it is on the inside, the nougat, just really nice contrast. I love it. It's a really nice bar. The American one's not as good as the UK one, I don't think. The Mars Dark that was in the UK. American Mars, I don't know, the chocolate's not quite as good, but for some reason it still works, and I still really liked it. It was a substantial bar. Just if you had it in front of me, I always have a soft spot for it. It's really nice. Yeah, I would definitely. It's a great bar to search out. And if you ever see Mars Dark, if it comes back in the UK, get it without a second hesitation. Even if you don't like Mars bars generally, the Mars, and even, it's hard to say whether about dark chocolate, but I would still try it. It's just got a lovely combination of flavors. Just really nice. Yeah, Mars Dark. So that's my number 10. Okay, number 9. What have we got? Number 9. Let's see. Okay, I thought this one would be higher, really. It's the Swizzles Drumstick chocolate bar. Yeah, so this is based on the lollipop, the drumstick, basically. It's always been around. I think it's kids' favourite, really. It's like a milk and a strawberry, I think, or raspberry, one of the other flavoured lollipop. It's got sort of not quite half and half, but two sort of like flavours of sweet, chewy sweet melded into one almost, or wrapped around each other or whatever, and in like a little lollipop form, and it's very chewy. And he did a chocolate bar version of it, and what that was didn't really have the same chew in it as all. I thought, it had like a cream in it basically, and some crunchy bits as well. And I didn't think it was going to work. If it's not chewy, how's it going to work? And it wasn't chewy, but it did work. It was great. And really tasted just like the sweet. Had crunchy sort of dried strawberry or raspberry bits, whatever it was, and the cream tastes a bit like sort of like the milk side of the sweet. It just tasted just like the bar basically. Then the actual inside tastes a bit more like both of them together actually, rather than just the milk, but it looked like the milk bit. I think it was white colour. Really nice product. I actually loved it more when I first had it. I had it again since, and it wasn't quite as special the second time. I think because I knew what I was expecting, so it's just the way of it. And I think that's why it's not quite as high as I think it would have been higher really had I not had it again, because I think it took away a bit of the novelty of it having it twice, because I think that when I first had it, it was like, wow, this is fabulous, honestly. The first time you have it, it's a real treat and it's a real surprise. It's lovely. I mean, obviously me telling you all this, and then when you have it, you might be expecting it then. But when I was expecting nothing, and when I had it, it was gorgeous, and I was so shocked and surprised and really enjoyed it. I like drumsticks anyway, and it just worked so well. I loved it, honestly. But I think having it again took away a bit of the magic from it, but it's still really nice, and that's why it's number 9. Okay, so number 8, what have we got there? Number 8, we got, well, this one's higher than I thought it would be actually, but as I say, because it was the compared to which would you rather have this or this, it just filtered its way to the top, and this is the Toblerone Orange Twist. Yeah, so basically it's a massive bar. This is a massive, I don't think you get it in the smaller one, a huge Toblerone. It came out, another one of these orange chocolate fads that were from last year. It's still going on, I think, but probably will slow down a bit now. But yeah, this was basically, it wasn't just chocolate orange though. It had ginger in it as well. So it had like a ginger taste, like ginger pieces, I think, and orange flavoured chocolate. Obviously Toblerone's got those almond chunks. It was a massive, massive bar. Just really nice. Really nice. I love those ginger bits in it. Really sort of indulgent. It's a huge bar, it's those huge Toblerone's massive plates to scale about that long, yeah, so really, really, really lovely bar though. Just enjoyed the flavours. Surprised because I had the ginger in it, didn't expect that. Yeah, really nice bar. As I say, very much an indulgent one, that one, but very much something I enjoyed as well. Yeah, and it was higher than I thought it would be. I kept comparing and thinking, when I was comparing, I thought, yeah, I would rather have that actually, and then it came up against another one. Oh yeah, actually, I would rather have that. Just out of the two, so it just yeah, just the novelty of it, I think, and as I say, that ginger in it, just made a bit of a difference, really. So yeah, so yes, Toblerone orange twist. It was that number 8, was it? Number 8. Yes, this one's another possibly a hidden gem. This one, number 7. It's the Twix salted caramel. Yeah, so really, this one, I mean, salted caramel been done to death. Bored of it, really. It's so mundane. But when I had and Twix, of course, pretty standard chocolate bar. It's basically a 2-fingered bar with sort of chocolate covered biscuit and caramel generally. It's got this left Twix and right Twix, hasn't it? Going on with it in the advertising campaign, but they're both identical, just 2 fingers basically. Usually it suffers massively from flourish issues as well. When you get the bar, it looks like it's this big, but then when you squish it down, it's actually that big. It's ridiculous. But the salted caramel, because obviously it's got caramel in it anyway. I just found that the salted caramel in this bar, because of all the other textures and things, it just tasted so nice. It just was really, really nice. It was quite salty, I think. It just really worked very well. It was a lovely, just a lovely set of textures. You had the biscuit, you had the chocolate, and then you had the caramel. Twix is quite mundane. It's more than the sum of its parts, a Twix bar, really. It just seems to work. Yeah. And this one, so with that salted caramel taste, it's really nice. It's probably I think I described it at the time as the best salted caramel chocolate I'd ever tasted, I think, and I think that's true, to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't not had any evidence suggest otherwise since then. Just really enjoyed it. It's cheap bar as well. You know what I mean? I think it's not a limited edition one as far as I know. You can still get them, so definitely check that one out. Definitely the best salted caramel chocolate I think that's out there. As it just worked really well with all the biscuit and stuff. Great combination of textures, lovely flavours. So yeah, it's Twix salted caramel. It's a blue bar, I think, like a sort of turquoisey sky blue. So check that one out. Okay, so where are we up to? That was number 7. So number 6 now. Yes, we got to Cadburys TwixCaramilk. Yeah, so I think in the perhaps in the other list you may have seen that there was a Cadburys Caramilk in there, Australian import. Well, this is an Australian import as well, but it's the Cadburys Twirl. But instead of so it looks like a twirl from the outside, which is a 2-fingered Cadburys bar with sort of like a bit like a flake, but covered in chocolate, or to an extent. It's not quite the same, but a bit like that if you imagine that. Like sort of twirly chocolate on the inside, but it's kind of crumbly. But on the inside of this one was actually Cadburys Caramilk, and that's basically a white chocolate, sort of a caramel flavoured white chocolate, essentially. Not like a Caramelk, but similar. But Caramelk isn't actually chocolate. You think it is, but it's not. It's something else. I don't know what it is exactly. But yeah, same with that thing on McVitie's Gold Bars as well. It's not actually chocolate. But this is actually chocolate, so it's white chocolate, but with a caramel flavour added to it, or caramel added to it. It's got like a sort of like goldy colour to it, and it looks lovely. And what's around it, and in the twirl form, it's that sort of, let's say, flaky chocolate, and then covered in milk chocolate as well. Just really lovely, but looks beautiful as well, and lovely combination of the milk and chocolate. I don't think Cadbury's Australia's milk chocolate's as good as Cadbury's UK. I don't think there's a slight difference there in the recipe, but you couldn't really tell that with this one. I said the Caramilk was its own thing, and it just had a sort of layer of milk chocolate on the outside. So really, it was just a combination of both, and the look of it just worked really well. Lovely bar, very unique and different. Which may play into why I'd rather have it. When presented with 2 things, because it's just so different. But that's part of it, isn't it? And yeah, really like this one. A lovely bar. Definitely recommend trying to find that one out. As an Australian import, you might get it in B&M sometimes, but you might have to just look online for that one. But well worth it. Yes, that's the Cadburys TwixCaramilk, yeah. Okay, so where are we up to there? That's number 6. And number 5, so we're into, what are we on now? The top 2.5% or something like that, is it? Something like that. This one, big surprise, this one. It's a massive bar, sort of a Christmas edition, really, or winter edition as it's called in this case. It's the Dairy Milk Winter Mint Crisp. Yeah, it's a massive dairy milk bar, basically, but it had lots of crispy pieces inside it, and they're all minty flavoured. And I just really loved it, and it's basically very similar to the Irish Cadbury's. I think it's just called Mint Crisp, I think it had green mint pieces in there. I'm not sure, or just pieces in. I can't remember if the green ones were the Cadbury's Mint Crisp one from Ireland, or whether the green ones, perhaps suitably so, from Ireland. But if it was, or whether it was in the Winter Mint Crisp one. I think the Winter Mint Crisp one, I think it was sort of like a bluey white, I think. So yeah, I think it was slightly different. But anyway, it's just lovely. It's like honeycomb pieces flavoured with mint. It wasn't like a mint. It wasn't like hard mint pieces. It was like honeycomb flavoured with mint and surrounding dairy milk. So it was lovely, as opposed to I think it was a Australian import I did have. What was it called? Was it the dairy milk mint, just mint bite or something? I'm not sure what it was. It was an absolutely horrendous bar. it just had really hard like pellets of mint in it, and it was just horrible. It's like eating really hard hailstone, really awful. You know, it was difficult for this list to try and differentiate between them both. You know, when I was rating them, because they both got the similar names. I can't remember what the other one was called, but it was horrendous. Yeah, I would never go near that bar ever again if I can help it. But this one was really nice, lovely. I say that honeycomb crunch, very sort of chewy honeycomby texture. I say it did have a mint flavour, of course, but it just worked. The dairy milk chocolate was so nice as well. That really, had that really sort of thick dairy milk chocolate, sort of velvety taste. You know, really sort of lovely. And I say along with the honeycomb as well, just really gorgeous combination. Really enjoyed it. Just nice and think it was really. I wasn't expecting much from it. I couldn't really remember the Irish equivalent either that much. It didn't really stand out, but for some reason this one did. I don't know. I think it's maybe because it was a bigger bar, just massive. It was a huge bar, you know. It wasn't a small one. I'm not sure really. Could have been a slightly different recipe. Don't really know. But for some reason this one stood out a lot more, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So yes, winter mint crisp, but avoid that Australian one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got a similar name. Or I don't know if it's got winter in it. I'm not sure. But it was just, it's horrible. Yeah, I'll probably put a picture of it as well to avoid this one, you know. Okay, so yeah, number 4 now. Number 4, so very near the top now. Number 4. This one, again, another sneaky one really. This one sort of snuck its way up the list. And again, just when presented with 2 bars, would I rather have this one or this one? This one really came up more often than not, really. As you can see, number 4. So this is Reeses Fast Break. Got this. It's a US import. This one. You think you can buy it in the UK from certain places, but really massive bar it was as well. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was a chocolate. It was a regular chocolate bar, but it was just like one from the 80s, you know, where they hadn't shrunk it. I don't even think, was it? I think it was labelled as king size actually, but it really was. It was a really big, massive, chunky, thick, huge bar, and it was just absolutely lovely. It was, yeah, it was just lovely. It just had obviously Reese's peanut butter in there somewhere, but it had like a biscuit piece of really sort of thick crunch. Well, not crunch really, but just a chewy bar. It was just lots of lovely textures in Reese's peanut butter. Just really, really nice. A really nice experience. It was just so satisfying. It was so big, so satisfying, so full of texture and taste. You know, really a real sort of indulgence, you know, and a real experience to eat it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that bar. It was really, I mean, I'm not a big peanut butter fan generally, but I do like Reese's. I do like Kit Kat chunky peanut butters. And this one just had that peanut butter, but with like a biscuity, crunchy, chewy sort of taste in there as well. It just had lots of lovely textures that I really liked and lovely taste. As I say, it was really substantial as well. Just really ticked a lot of boxes. So yeah, definitely check that one out if you can. Obviously, especially if you like Reese's peanut butter. If you don't like that, I'm not sure you'd like this one, but it's not just Reese's peanut butter. But yeah, there you go. That's number 4. So number 3, what have we got? Well, this one is a re-review actually, so a bit of a cheat maybe. I think I originally reviewed this perhaps in 2016, I think. I first review because when I first started the channel, I thought I would just review lots of random products that people, you know, well, not random products, but different products, imported products and stuff like that. But I found that people generally wouldn't find my channel if I did that because they were kind of looking for just typical stuff, you know. So it didn't really work out in the end. It still doesn't really work out today, although. Yeah, I think the Tupla bar that I just reviewed might prove that differently actually, but who knows? But basically at the time, yeah, it was a bit of a difficult one. You know, I did review some, I'll say non-UK products, didn't get many reviews, but might be different these days. But anyway, this one, Phaser's milk chocolate with red berries. Yeah, so I reviewed this at the start of the year. I think I met up a friend from Finland and he gave it me as a present. I love Phaser's chocolate. It's always going to be up there for me. Phaser's chocolate. It's so nice. Something about it, it just works. It's just a beautifully balanced chocolate. It's not really one thing or another. It just works. You know, it's just a really nice chocolate. You know, it really is. And they often have very nice sort of components to the chocolate. In this case, red berries, and it's just lovely. A big 200, maybe 100 gram bar actually. So they always generally come in quite big bars. Packed full of well, it's basically sort of like freeze dried red berries. I think it's cranberry. I know cranberry, strawberry, and it's definitely raspberry, possibly cranberry and strawberry. I think just a sort of freeze dried pieces. You know, it's red berries anyway. You know, something along those lines. I think it's those 3, or definitely 2 of them at least. I think maybe one of them looks a bit like a cranberry, which actually is a raspberry. So maybe it's just raspberry and strawberry. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah, lovely, just lovely bar, lovely chocolate, lovely. Lovely red berries, as I say, sort of freeze dried in there. Give a nice crunch. Not really a fruity person in bars, or it used to be, but these ones freeze dried and things, just lovely texture. As I say, nice crunch, just beautiful chocolate. Yeah, and that's why it's there, number 3. Really nice. Phaser bars will always be up there for me. I love them, but I don't get to eat them that often for obvious reasons. And of course, don't generally eat much chocolate for leisure, sort of, these days, because I'm reviewing all of them. So I eat while I review, basically, and that's it. You know, just not enough calories otherwise. I can't afford to be putting on too much weight. So there we go. But there we are. Right, so number 2. Okay, this one, well, it's similar to red berries, and possibly one I just did mention that may or may not be in that bar. This one's it's another one. There was a few in the top sort of, well, the bottom half of this top 20 list from this company, but this is the one I love the most. Actually, I really loved it. It was so different, and it sold out so quickly. Actually, I was so lucky to get a copy of this. It's a bit more findable now, you know, but at the time it was there for a week in Morrison's, I think, and then it just disappeared for about 3 months or something. But I think you can get it now in other supermarkets. And this is the Terry's chocolate orange bar with cranberries. Absolutely love this bar. It was lovely. It's so nice. Obviously Terry's chocolate orange is lovely anyway. And in their bar version, this was like a 2 sort of columned, I think it might be 10 segments on each column, bar of their sort of Terry's chocolate orange. And in like, when I say segments, it's like a literal orange segment sort of. Yeah, it's lovely milk chocolate with orange flavour. I really like it. It really tastes really nice. And this one I've sort of chewy. I didn't know how it'd work actually. For what on earth is this? How's this going to work? And it was basically sort of like weird sugared candied cranberry flavoured pieces in there. It was quite semi-chewy, you know. It was really, the consistency was very different. They weren't really chewy, but they were just the right amount of chew. I'd give you like one or slightly 2 chews, and then it would dissolve in your mouth. A lovely sort of fruity taste that really worked with the orange as well. It was just so nice, lovely texture. I'd say that texture, having multiple textures in a bar that's nice, really works for me. And this is what makes some of them stand out and really get the 5 out of 5, you know, on my channel. And this one, gorgeous bar, and not only is it 5 out of 5, but it's one I would want over. Well, it's number 2, you know, all but one bar basically, which we're about to find out what that is. Really nice, lovely bar. Distinctive, you know, that's the other thing as well. It's really distinctive. I think this cranberry's different. It's different than any other bar. That's why I would pick it over other ones, because it's just different. Lots of nice textures, lovely taste, and different, you know. So there we go. So nearly number 1 really, and it was very close actually. These two were possibly interchangeable almost, but this one was a very special bar. This number 1 actually, and I think I got it, reviewed it really right at the start of the year, and I actually got it the year before, but didn't get to review it until 2020. And I did get this from the US. You can get it from imported on Amazon. I think you do pay a lot for it, unfortunately, so it's a difficult one to get hold of. I'd love to review more of this company's bars. I think it was a lady recommended me very early on in the channel, maybe we went back in 2016, maybe 2017. You know, she was from San Francisco, I think she said, and there's this chocolate company here, you should really try their stuff. You know, and I think you'd like it. And I thought, oh, okay, well, you know, yeah, I might give it a try. And I think I did try one of their bars. And the one I tried was not this flavour, it was another one. I think it was a brownie one, I think, because it was so expensive, I only could have really get one of them. And it was really nice. But this one was one I bought back when I went to the US for a relative's wedding. Back when you could travel. Yeah, so it still cost, I think I got it from the airport, so it still cost a bit of money. But anyway, either way, I digress. And this is the Giardelli, not how you spell it, but dark chocolate raspberry. Massively indulgent bar, this one. It was absolutely, you can get like packs of these in squares. They come in like, it's like there's like quite big squares in the bar, you know, they're sort of like 5 by 5 centimeters, something like that, and you get 4 of them in a bar, something like that. Off the top of my head, but you can get individual squares in like in a sort of like variety pack and things like this of different ones as well. So I would like to get that. I'd like to get loads of their bars. Absolutely gorgeous. This was absolutely beautiful. I think they make ice cream now. So I think they have ice cream shops, I think, in the US. I'm not sure. I think it's them, and I think there's another company as well. Can't remember what they're called now. Got a funny name, but anyway. I'd be in heaven if I was there, honestly. But yeah, so this one, yeah, it's just a gorgeous bar. It's dark chocolate on the outside. All these squares got a very liquidy, you know, dark chocolate raspberry centre, and it's well, not dark chocolate, raspberry centre. So it's so beautifully. It's really thick and, you know, runny. You know, it's just thick and runny. But you know, it's just a lovely. It is both really. Yeah, it just really indulgent. It just works perfectly together. It's really nice. Gorgeous combination basically of flavors. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Really enjoyed it. And You know, it could be because it's so hard for me to get. You know, that's why it's right at the top. You know, I think, well, I'd just love to have it again. You know, so that might play a part in it. But you know, I think I might be being a bit unfair on it there. It doesn't get to number one just purely on that alone. It was such a gorgeous bar. Looked beautiful, really indulgent, as I say, and I don't think it's one of those where you have to like dark chocolate to like it. It was just the fact it was a perfect combination of flavours. You know, didn't have any other textures in, I don't think, but the dark chocolate was quite crisp and, you know, yeah, it was a nice texture to it. Just beautiful. It was beautiful, and yeah, one of those. As I say, I'm looking back on it now. It was over a year ago since I've had it. You know, it is from memory and things, but you know, that's the way it goes, isn't it? That's how it is. You know, with these chocolates, really. So, you know, what I'm trying to say is, you know, unfortunately I've not had it since then, you know, so it's one of those where, you know, I've had it again, the novelty might not be quite as perfect as it was when I first had it, as I was mentioning with the Swizzles Drumstick bar, but, you know, it really was something very special, this bar. It looked beautiful, lovely combinations. The raspberry inside the dark chocolate was such a lovely taste, very special bar. Beautiful it was. As I say, you know, I'd like to have it again. Unfortunately, with time, my memory of it might, you know, start to diminish a bit, and it might lower on the list or whatever. You know, when I start comparing it with other chocolates in other years and things like that. If I do top hundreds of all time and things like this, but yeah, if it was in front of me now, it'd be the one I'd go for over anything. Yeah, honestly, anything I've reviewed anyway. well, anything really. I think, to be honest with you, because I don't think there's not much I haven't reviewed now. But yeah. So there we go. That's my top chocolate of 2020. Giardelli's, hopefully I pronounced that right, dark chocolate raspberry bar. Absolutely gorgeous. Definitely recommend trying to get that out. You pay a premium for it, but I think I don't think you'd be disappointed. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Yeah, let me know what you think. Your favourite chocolate bars from last year. Yeah, it'd be great to hear from what you think, whether you agree with me or not. You know, obviously it is my own opinion. You know. Well, of course it is. You know what I mean. And you know, someone else might think something differently. You know, your favourite bar might be something completely different than mine. You might love Turkish Delight or whatever, and your favourite was the lemon Turkish Delight. Unfortunately, you know, it just didn't do it for me. But you know, there you go. I don't think it was even in. I don't think it was really even in the top 100. That one. You know what I mean? For me, as I say, I did review. Yeah, I think it was almost 200. You know, 200 reviews I did last year. You know what I mean? So. Even if your favourite was number 10 or number 20, please don't forget that that's number 20 was pretty much my top 10%, and number 10 would have been my top 5%. So, you know, excuse me, please don't think that in any way that suggests it's one of my worst bars. It isn't. To be in this top 10 or top 20 are all bars I love. Really do. You know, you've got to bear that in mind. I can't stress it enough. You know, yeah, it's just I review and taste a lot of chocolate. Let's put it that way. Okay, guys, well, take care. As I say, leave a comment or free. Let me know what you think. As always, subscribe, like my videos, check out the member program. Gives you exclusive videos and other perks, things like this. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. See ya.